Hello everyone, my name is the Rad Man, and we are here for a new series that we're going to be doing. This is basically going to be Courseplay Basics. So we're going to start off really simple. So this episode I'm going to explain to you what all of the different tabs are, and then what each setting in each tab is. So we're going to start off with the ones accessible to just a normal tractor. So first we have grain transport. Grain transport is when the trailer gets loaded by either an overloader or the combine and then drives to a silo and unloads and then drives back to where it was filled. Combi mode is where the tractor goes into a field and unloads a combine, and then when it's a set amount full, it will continue on to the silo. Overloader mode is basically kind of like a hybrid mode between combi mode and grain transport mode, where it'll be in combi mode in that it'll search for a combine, but then it'll act like a grain transport mode, but instead of taking it to a silo, it'll take it to a tractor either just parked at the edge of a field or possibly running a grain transport mode. Fertilizing and seeding mode is pretty explanatory. It's a special mode made just for fertilizing and seeding machines, and I'll show you why in a later video. Then we have the default one, which is transfer, and this is a very simple mode. It just drives exactly along the course as it's recorded. It's pretty much just for transporting things from one point to another. It's not smart at all. And then you have fieldwork mode, which opens up a few options. So you can see in transfer mode, we can't do pretty much any of the actual advanced options. But so fieldwork mode is basically what we would use on, for instance, the cultivator, or the combine would also run in fieldwork mode. Pretty much anything that needs to go up and down a field, or even follow a course, like for instance mowing grass, would be in fieldwork mode. This mode here is one that only combines can use. It's basically the opposite of combi mode, where in this mode the combine will leave the field and go to a trailer, and that's one of the reasons you do grain transport mode on a tractor, is then you can have a trailer automatically go to the silo after the combine unloads itself in this mode. Then we have liquid product transport mode, which is basically transporting liquid manure from one point to another. We have fill and empty shovel mode, which is what you would use, for instance, to get either you could get solid manure from your farms and load it into a manure spreader running a fertilizing and seeding course, or you could also use this mode to fill up the biogas plant if you didn't want to use conveyor belts. And then this is actually a new mode that was added just for 2017. It's leveling and compacting, and what it is it basically allows a tractor to, if it's set up right, automatically compact and level out a silage pile, while also moving out of the way for incoming traffic. And again, I'll show you all of these in a future episode. For this episode, though, I'm just going to show you the basics. So this this menu, I should say, because these are the menu and then these are the modes. This menu is only available from a combine, so I'll show you what it does. We'll just hop over in a combine in a minute. This is your basic control panel. It has all the stuff you need, like start a course recording. It'll have a few more options once you have a course loaded. Then we have manage the courses. Here you can click this button to make a new folder, and then you can either then you can manipulate the courses in various ways. So for instance, if I make a new folder like this, I can call it, we'll just call it test, and then if I click this folder, or this button, it'll load the course. This button, so say I had two courses, if I wanted this course to run and then this course to run, I could click this button, and now it says there's 2 combined courses. That would also be achieved by just doing this. But using the append tool tends to make things not bug out as much. And then move to folders, pretty self-explanatory. When you click it, it'll only show you folders, and then you just click that, and it'll put that inside our test folder. So there we go. So that's all the save. That's the save menu. And then here we have the settings. Now, turn on field I usually keep activated because that'll keep your combine or tractor from driving into trees when they're in fieldwork mode. Opposite turn direction, I've never really found a reason to change it from the last couple of lanes. Turning circle you can usually leave on auto, but if you're running, say, a silage wagon that's really long, you might want to turn this up or down depending on, if you're having problems with it turning in the field. And the start on and drive on at are modes that are pretty specific to. They're usually used in things like grain transport, combi, and overloader. And I'll show you in each of those instances what these actually are used for, because there's some situations where this can be set at 0, and then there's also situations where both of them are taken into account. Align with first waypoint is just a setting that you can turn on if you want it to always go to the first waypoint when you start a course. And then this is another. This is an option is only available in the overloader or combi mode, and it basically is just a way to find combines. You can either do it manually or automatically, so you can choose a combine manually this way, or you can have it search only on field 1, and I own all the fields, so we could scroll through every single field if we wanted. And that would make this tractor, if it's in combi or overloader mode, search for a tractor on this specific field. Or if you leave it blank, it'll just do whatever field you're touching. So like it would automatically do it for this field now that I'm touching it, but it wouldn't do it for that field over there if I didn't have it selected here. And then this is your speed limits. You can usually leave the street speed and the regular speed automatic or from recording. Unless you accidentally go around a corner too fast, then you might want to change it to limit the speed. Reversing speed can usually be bumped up to about 5 or 6 miles per hour. And then the field speed and turn speed are really whatever you want. Fuel save option is basically an option that means that if the tractor cannot work for, I believe it's more than 5 seconds, it'll turn off the tractor. There are 1 or 2 situations where you do not want this turned on, but most of the time you can just leave this turned on. Settings, this pathfinding option is mostly useful for operations like if you're running in either overloader or combi mode, because what this is it will determine whether or not the trailer or the tractor will try and pathfind its way around the field without crushing grain. And basically it can do that better if pathfinding's enabled, but it does mean that things take a little longer sometimes. Open HUD width is pretty simple. You click it to select one of the 2 options. I usually leave it on mouse right, but if you don't need it all the time, I would put it to left control delete. Show waypoints is also pretty simple. You can have it show start and end, and for some reason there's 2 options for start and end. So like, yeah, you just click one, they both go. But you could also have it show all the waypoints, which is what this does. And then this shows crossing points, which are something I've never really had to use. Warning lights, I just leave beacons on. Waiting time is fine. Yeah, all this is usually good. I haven't actually tried if the gas station thing works. I usually just top off my tractors whenever I'm in them. This is a place where you can set actual course specific things. So if there's a setting or course that requires changing these settings, I'll show you how to do that in that episode. Let's go to fieldwork so that we can see this mode or this option. So we can see that, let's say we were going to go to field 14, which is what we're in. We could say we have a working width of 3. We want our starting location to be based on my position, and the direction is automatic. Return to first point just determines whether or not the tractor will drive back to where it started at the end. There's not many courses you have to have it activated. Again, I'll tell you which ones when we get to the specific ones. Headlands is how many headlands you want. Bypass islands is for if you have like a telephone pole or something in the middle, it'll do a circle around it. If you do a circle or simple, it'll basically just make kind of a triangle around it. Multiple tools is something that we'll get into more in its own video, because this also applies to combine harvesters. And then to generate a course using your settings, you just click this button, and if I generate one, you can see it's going to go and call it a temporary course. So now I can either save it. If you want to generate course with advanced settings, you can go here, but you kind of need to know what you're doing, or you can screw up stuff if you're in that menu, and then that will unload the course without saving it. And I'll just show you the last two that we can get from this tractor, and then we'll hop into the combine to show you the last one. So this is going to get its own video because it's pretty complicated. I just want you guys to have seen it first. And same with this. This is all really just this is really only useful if you're actually using Courseplay for compacting. It's not really, doesn't really make sense to try and explain it just sitting here in a tractor doing nothing. But anyway, so then if you're in fieldwork mode in a combine, you get this other combine controls panel, and if you click request driver, basically what this will do is it'll look for a tractor running either combi mode or overloader mode that has a chance to find your combine. Like if it's sitting on the same field like this tractor is, it would, if I click request and this guy was running Courseplay, it would say, hey, I need an unload, come to me. And then I'll show you guys when we actually start using, you know, multiple courses and tractors and stuff running, what all these other things do. This just affects whether or not it stops during unloading. Driver priority will decide if you have multiple drivers, whether it'll want the distance from you to be shorter or the fill amount to be less. And then headland reverse maneuver is usually fine. Straight just means it goes, you know, straight, and then curve means obviously just curves a little. But anyway, I'm going to call that an end to this episode. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the next episodes into kind of subsections, so I'm not going to do like, you know, number 1, here's how you run a cultivator. Number 2, here's how you run a combine with no other special things running. I think I'm going to do like combining. Here's how to do a simple combine course. Combining. Here's how to set up an automatic unload course. Combining. Here's how to use an overloader. Combining. Here's how to use, you know, 2+ machines on the same field without them interfering with each other. Stuff like that. But anyway, guys, if you have any suggestions for what episodes you'd like to see first, like I said, eventually I'm planning on getting around to doing all the features that I know how to use with this Courseplay version. But if there's some that you'd rather see sooner than others, please let me know down in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope that you look forward to this series as much as I do. So I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!